On May 26, Kickapoo freshmen attended the first annual volunteer fair, where they were informed about the different charities in the surrounding area. This event was held at Seminole Baptist Church. Over 100 teachers and staff members attended this event, put on by Leslie Calvert. These kids learned the importance of volunteering and organ donating.
We ended up being the fix for arena scheduling. That was not my intention. My intention was to get all the freshmen out of the building because it's something special. And I wanted this to make them feel special. I wanted them to feel like it was important enough to stop the day, load them on a bus and take them somewhere and treat them well so that they knew how important this was.
These freshmen went through many activities informing them on the importance of being active in your community.
I really thought today was going to be boring, but when I showed up it's pretty cool because you get to hold snakes and enjoy it, and it's kind of nasty, but I'm nervous. But
I like how, I just like the effort that we put into it because, it's the first annual one, and I think it's great how, just come together and just all be united and actually just give to someone, because, a lot of people, a lot of us just sit around and wait for someone else to help, but it's good to be part of the volunteer experience.
The freshmen were put through different stations based on what they were interested in, and the charities and organizations they found important in the community. Many local charities came out for this event. Since this event was such a hit this year, it is sure to go on next year to the oncoming freshmen while the upperclassmen are scheduling. We talked to some freshmen who said it was very beneficial. Some of these kids are already volunteering in the community and will hopefully make a difference.
Hey, Danny, as you know all too well, Thanksgiving is a day to remember all of our blessings and to be inspired by the strength of others. 11 months ago, Bengals wide receiver Chris Henry died tragically in an accident. The event devastated those who knew him. Now, prior to Chris's passing, his mother, Carolyn Henry Glaspie, made a courageous decision that changed the lives of 4 families forever. It's a story that is uniquely hers to tell.
My name is Carolyn Henry Glaspie. Chris Henry was my son. His passing dramatically changed my life, but that chapter of my story is for a different day.
This is Brian.
This Thanksgiving, I want you to hear about the lives Chris also changed, and how one day you too may be part of this journey.
I couldn't make plans for the future because I was too busy fighting for today.
This is my kidney buddy.
Death. If I didn't get a transplant, that was the alternative.
One point they gave me 6 months to live.
Being on dialysis for 10 years at a young age, I watched a lot of people give up on life. And to get a transplant, it was just like God gave me a second chance at life.
I think about Chris Henry every day. And I think about his family.
He was a blessing to me. He was my first, so we had the opportunity to do a lot of things as a mom and a son. When Chris was born, my mom had this vision that he was going to be somebody. She made this little football cushion and she put it in his hand, and she told me, she said, he's going to do something. He promised that he would do everything he could to make sure mom is taken care of. And I was like, well, you got to do you first. I knew he was good, but the day that he came home and he said that he had a scholarship, it was unbelievable. I was like, whoa, he made good on every promise he had for me. He was just gonna shine. On December the 16th, 2009, my world would change forever.
It is just confirmed that Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Chris Henry has been injured in an automobile accident.
When he came in, we quickly realized that there really wasn't anything that we were going to be able to do for him, and I knew that fairly early on.
My job at that point in time is to go up and intervene and see if I can assist the family.
I thought I was just going in, see maybe injuries. And I didn't never imagine in a million years that I was going to see my son for the last time.
Everybody was devastated, but it was very clear, very early, who was going to get them through this process.
When I put my head on his chest and I felt his heart beat, and there was no response than that, then I knew it was no more. But
being declared about 6:39 in the morning.
I got the phone call that said, we have an organ for you, to come down to CMC.
I was very emotional when I got the phone call to come.
All of a sudden, they said, transplants get ready to happen.
Chris wasn't a donor. That was a decision that I had to make as a mother. And it was a hard decision, but it was a decision that I would do again if I have to.
It's families making the best out of a bad situation when that death occurs that really helps, our patients and the people that are waiting on the transplant list.
My name is Donna Wyatt Arnold, and I received the gift of a pancreas and a kidney.
My name is James Benton, and I received the gift of a liver.
My name is Thomas Elliott, and I received 2 lungs.
My name is Brian Pope, and I received the gift of a kidney.
I thought about the people who was going to get it. How would they react?
I couldn't believe that this fight was finally coming to an end.
It's such a gift that we were given, And like I say, we just thank the family for what they did for all of us.
She will never know how grateful and how thankful we are.
It was just like a blessing and a Christmas gift, a life gift. It meant everything to me.
It's such an emotional thing because you're on such a high knowing that you're getting a second chance for life, and hopefully they can find peace with the gift that they've given these other families.
For him to live on, he brought me a new family. I don't know him, but it's a new family.
I can't wait to meet her, to be able to thank her, and I just want to know that I'm so thankful for what she did for me.
She'll be able to see the fruit that was bare from the gift that she gave, and to be able to see those individuals standing there.
How you doing? I'm okay. Good to see you. Looking well.
Knowing that they wouldn't be here today unless had she said no to organ donation, and it makes it all worthwhile.
Good.
It's been going through my mind, ever since I had the transplant, what would I say to this person,
I just want to express my feelings of, gratitude and how much I appreciate it, how much it is making a difference in my life.
It's going to come straight from my heart. I just really want me to reel ahead, just to say thanks,
Life is not about the breaths you take, but the moments that take your breath away. This is one of those moments.
I think about Chris every day.
I look at the world different now. It's like having a new pair of eyes. I see opportunity, I see life. So my time here now is more of it's a gift.
Believe it or not, this is my first tear. I think this is my closure. Just knowing that I shared a part of my son's life with someone that can keep going on. You can imagine that gift. This is Chris. People of faith believe that people journey into one's life for a reason. Of course, my family will never be the same, but it will also never be bigger. And for that, and every other day, I will truly, truly be forever thankful.
Wow.
You okay, JB? I'll take it from here. We want to say thank you to Carolyn Gillespie for sharing her heartfelt story this Thanksgiving, as well as the individuals at the Carolinas Medical Center and the great people at the Life Share of the Carolinas.
You just sit there too. I do that all the time for you to take cute, funny pictures. Just don't let him fall, but he's not likely to even move other than to pop his head and look around at what's going on. He's probably not going to try to go anywhere. That's pretty close. Who would like to hold Buddy? All you got to do is put your hand out, just like I'm holding here. That's all you got to do is give him plenty of support when you don't feel like he's going to fall. Bearded dragons have very rough scales. These have very smooth not nearly as sharp and rigid as they look. These are. All right. He couldn't handle these, but I don't want him to be the same ideas. There we go. Now, I have one more snake that's much, much larger than this. Anybody want to hold a big snake? And I mean like 15 pounds or so. Okay, this is magma. Magma is a boa. Boa constrictor, red-tailed boa, same thing. Different names. She's kind of heavy and very strong. And I'm going to, if you're comfortable with it, I'm just going to put her around your neck and your shoulders because she's easiest to handle that way. So if she gets to squeezing too tight, I'm here to help her. Otherwise, you're just going to have to hold her on your arms. She is kind of heavy. All right. Take your hands down. Now, she's going to move around, so don't worry about it. That's just normal. She's going to check things out and find her own comfort position. And if you've had enough, just tell me and I will take her. Or if she gets her face too close to you and that makes you nervous, I'll move you. Wow. Very strong. Both of these snakes are constrictors. That's how they deal with their food when they find it.
Get it off. Thank you. Get it off.
Hello and welcome to the Arena Scheduling Walkthrough. Scheduling will begin on Thursday morning for juniors, and sophomores will continue scheduling Thursday afternoon. Freshmen, you will schedule on Friday. Sophomores and juniors on the day of Arena Scheduling bring all your materials to the auditorium. While waiting for your scheduling time, a recent release movie will be playing. Prior to the start of the movie, your name and time to be excused to the arena will be displayed and posted on the walls of the auditorium. Please make note of your scheduling time. When your time does arrive, you'll be able to move to the upstairs gym where you'll find a list of closed classes. You can use this holding area to make any modifications should they be needed. If your schedule is good to go and no closed classes, visit one of the teachers and they'll mark step 1 complete on your schedule. This check will allow you to move forward to the next area called the arena, the main gym. As you enter the arena, you'll find a circle of tables. Each department will have a table with all the classes offered in that department. A teacher will help you sign up for your class in their department and initial your scheduling form. You have to get initials and sign up for every class that you have selected on your schedule. Counselors will be available in the center of the arena should you run into issues. After your scheduling form is full of all the necessary initials, you will head to the exit and the teacher will verify your schedule is complete and give you your second step check, allowing you to move forward to the data entry area, also known as the A+ Computer Lab, room 126. You are close to being finished. Hand all your materials to Mrs. Miller, and upon completion, you will receive your third and final step check. You will be able to return to the movie in the auditorium. If you become overwhelmed in this process, please do not be afraid to ask a teacher for help. We are here to help you and give you an opportunity to build your own schedule. This process is a valuable learning experience for anyone who will ever have to register for college classes. During Thursday and Friday next week, all access from the auditorium hallway to the choir hallway will occur through the southeast and southwest gym doors. Follow the purple curtain and blue tape on the floor, and you will succeed in getting to your destination. Have a great day, my friends.
Hi, I'm your friend.
I'm your friend.
Let's just say we know each other from school.
You can't see me, but I'm right here, hiding behind my screen name.
I'm not a bully.
I'm just having some fun.
You scared?
I know you're reading this.
Are you
I
there?
have access to you all the time. Everyone thinks you're a loser. Your Facebook, your email. I can even text your phone. And what's with your hair? Guess what? Everyone thinks you're a loser. Is it true your mom picks out your clothes? Love? Cyberbullying.
The word bully is traditionally defined to be a person who uses strength to harm others. But the traditional image of the bully has changed with technology. With the internet and cell phones becoming more and more central to our lives, today's bully has many more options than physical force with which to exert power over others. What is cyberbullying? It might be hard to explain to your parents or teachers, but you know it when you see it. It's when teens use cell phones or the internet to harass, embarrass, or threaten others using hurtful messages or by posting personal information or pictures intended to frighten the victim or damage their reputation or friendships. But can words be as harmful as physical bullying?
No, it's actually worse, because with physical bullying, there's an initial injury, kids get over it, they feel the hurt, and it's done. But with cyberbullying, once something's out there, you can't take it back. It's done. It's out on the internet. It can go to 2 people or 1 million people. That's the nightmare.
Dr. Joel Haber is a clinical psychologist and a cyberbullying expert.
Once something's out there, you can't take it back.
And if you have ever experienced cyberbullying, you'll know that it is not limited to school time. With the internet and cell phones, when you get home, the bullying can go on. The bully has access to the victim 24/7. What's more, you don't have to be big and strong. Anyone can be a cyberbully.
In this video, we will be looking at some key examples of cyberbullying and suggest ways to avoid it and ways to deal with it if it does happen.
Before we start, let's have a look at some cyberbullying facts. If you've been cyberbullied, you are not alone. Almost half of all teens report to have been cyberbullied.
Girls are twice as likely to be victims of cyberbullying as boys. And guess what? They are twice as likely to be the perpetrators too.
The most common locations for cyberbullying are chat rooms, social networking websites, email and texting, and instant message or IM systems.
Cyberbullies can bully in many different ways. It may be as straightforward as sending or forwarding mean texts or emails, or setting up offensive internet polls,
stealing passwords to harass others in their name, or locking them out of their own account, attacking on online gaming sites or creating websites intended to insult a victim, posting compromising pictures of their victims.
The list is endless. All of these behaviors and more are considered cyberbullying. Do they sound familiar?
Okay, so we all know what cyberbullying is, but what can we do to prevent it from happening? Well, here are a few steps you can take to help reduce your chances of being the victim of cyberbullying.
Be aware of the information that you give out. Make sure that you never post or share your personal information online. This includes your full name, address, phone number, or school. Of course, you should never give out your passwords, not even to your best friend. In short, treat your private information as private. It's a good idea to try Googling yourself to find out what information is out there. There may be old accounts on social networking sites, pictures from school, and if you don't want it there or didn't put it there in the first place, you can start the process of getting stuff removed so that a cyberbully will have less to work with. What we are really saying is, use your common sense. Only put things on the internet that you would be happy for anyone to see, because you never know where your information will end up.
Let's have a look at an example of one high school student that learned this lesson the hard way.
It was probably the worst day of my life. That day that I walked in and saw the rude looks on everyone's faces and had to deal with the pain of everyone just hating you pretty much. I felt like it was me against my whole school because of some silly incident over the computer. I play the guitar and write my own music, So I usually go on the internet to let my friends hear it. I've heard about incidents that have happened to friends, but I never thought anything would happen to me because I got along with everyone. One day I came home from school and rushed on the internet, see what was going on, talk to my friends, and I had a little notification, and it was my friend's name, and I just thought it was her. So we were having a conversation, and everything was going as usual. She seemed like herself, and all of a sudden she started asking me all these questions. Questions like, what do you think of this person? What do you think of that person? If you had to rate this boy on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say? And I told her everything. I didn't feel right about the whole conversation. So I called my friend, and I learned it wasn't her from what she said, but really from what happened the next day in school. I walked into high school, and it was almost like a movie scene where everything was just in slow motion, and I kept seeing people's heads turning and looking at me and saying, that's her, from the conversation, and it was the big talk in school. All over the place on bulletins, taped on lockers was my conversation with this girl. Everyone knew now, not just this stranger on the computer, it was everyone in school. I just kept thinking, why is this happening to me? I felt attacked and violated. I was so embarrassed that I just totally wanted to isolate myself from everything. I told my mom, and she was very comforting, and she really helped me cope with it a lot. You never know who you're really talking to, and that's the scary part about it, because you don't know. It could be a stranger, and you can be telling them your life story thinking it's a family member, a friend. Anyone can be anyone. To this day, I still have no idea who the culprit is. The way I use the internet now is completely different than the way I used to use it. Everything I say, I make sure if someone had to see it, then it would be okay. Because if you write it and you send it, it's always going to be there. And people can get it and post it, and it's permanently there. So I want to make sure what I say is okay, and whoever sees it, no problem.
The lesson we've learned from Lauren to prevent cyberbullying is to keep your personal communications face-to-face. But get this, the best way to prevent cyberbullying, don't become a cyberbully yourself.
That's right. It may sound crazy, but it's true. Unlike bullies in the olden days, cyberbullies don't need to be the biggest, strongest kid at school. You just need to be strong enough to use a keyboard. Anyone can be a cyberbully, even you. For instance, have you ever written an email or text when you were angry? Of course you have. Everyone has. But did you think about the fact that texting, posting, or writing when you're angry might lead you to write something that is hurtful? Always review what you've written carefully before you post or send it. Maybe even walk away for a minute or two and reread it before you decide if you should send, change, or delete it altogether. You may not realize how much your words could hurt someone else, even if you are only reacting to something they sent you. You can help by refusing to forward any emails, texts, pictures, or links that could be considered cyberbullying, and by telling friends that are cyberbullying to stop. You can also block communication with cyberbullies.
Well, I think some of us don't really think about ourselves as cyberbullies, but you have to ask the question, have I done anything that makes me qualify as doing cyberbullying to someone else? And if you ask those questions, have I sent a nasty email? Have I sent a picture I shouldn't have sent? Or forwarded something to someone else that was gossipy or hurtful to someone? That puts us in that category. Ask yourself those questions. Have I done those things?
So, are you a cyberbully? Here's a little quiz. Have you ever signed on with someone else's screen name, impersonated someone online, or sent something from someone else's account? Have you teased or frightened someone over IM, even if you were just joking?
Have you not told someone who you really are online, telling them to guess? forwarded a private IM conversation or email without the permission of the other person?
Have you posted pictures or information about someone on a website without their consent? Used someone else's password for any reason without their permission?
Have you insulted someone in an interactive game room? Have you voted at an online bashing poll?
How have you done? You don't need to share the results with anyone unless you choose to. But you should know for yourself that all of these behaviors are considered examples of cyberbullying. If you see it, say something. If you've done any of it, stop it and apologize.
If any of these seem petty to you, realize that even if you don't think you're doing much or you're just having some fun, the effects on the victim can be dreadful.
While we can do our best to prevent it from happening, no one who uses interactive technology is immune from cyberbullying. So what is the best way to deal with it if it does happen? Well, if you receive an offensive message, it's only human to want to respond, and you'll probably want to do so immediately. You'll have an urge to put things right. I mean, I know I would. But what is the best way to limit the effect of the cyberbully? The thing is, by responding, you are giving the cyberbully exactly what he or she wants, your response.
Let's hear from a high school freshman whose typical cyberbullying experience made her realize that responding may not be the solution.
I recently moved to a new town, and the experience was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I came in as a new girl, not knowing anybody. I started adding people on Facebook, making more friends. A few weeks in, I got a friend request from somebody who was an unknown name, no picture, no nothing, but it said Weehawken High School on it. So I was like, oh, maybe she's just getting started with Facebook. She doesn't have any pictures uploaded, whatever. So I added her, and she messaged me. And it was about a paragraph long, and she was calling me names. We don't need you, and you're making us look bad, and we all know that you look at us, in weird ways. And I wrote back, why are you coming at me like this? Who are you? Why would you say this? Like, I don't know who you are. It's not true. And it was just like, you don't want to know who I am. You don't need to know who I am. It was not fun. Day after day, I would check in, and there would be another thing from them, or her, or him, or whoever it was. Every time they would respond, it would be something else. And it would be, well, you're doing this, and you need to stop doing this, and we all see this. It felt like I was being spied on. It really did. I would walk down the stairs and turn the corner to go to my class, and I would look around, and somebody would be looking at me, and I would feel, maybe it's her, maybe it's him. I wasn't wanting to go to school. I wasn't wanting to make friends. I was scared to walk down my street. I was scared. I was scared to walk inside the doors. When people go after you like that, they do it because they want something out of you. They want that emotion and that anger and that sadness, and I gave it to them. And that's the thing that gets me the most, is that I gave them what they were looking for. Me responding allowed it to escalate. It did, because when I responded, they kept responding to me, which just got me more worked up. If I would have never responded to the original message, it would have gone away. I could have deleted it. It would have been hard to walk through school, but it would eventually have passed under. I had called an old friend. She gave me the best advice. Why be so upset when you could be yourself and you could show them the real you? So I started jumping down the hallways again and wearing a smile on my face, and it all stopped. It takes a lot more energy to ignore somebody than just to respond. That's what got him to stop. You can feel something inside of you, but not let other people see it. My story's not unique. I know that lots of people watching this will have had experiences or are having experiences very close to mine, but the lesson is always the same. Don't respond.
Well, as Blaze demonstrated, victims of cyberbullying often want to believe that they can befriend the cyberbully to fix the problem, but you can't. We can only control our own behavior and not the behavior of the cyberbully. So instead of responding and risking making the situation worse, use these 3 steps.
Well, the first step is to stop and stand back from the computer to give yourself the time and space to think. Remove yourself from the situation. Go get a drink, walk around the block, anything but respond. Because if you react immediately, you are more likely to aggravate the situation. With time to think, you can decide if you want to respond directly to the bully at all. Most often, it's best to simply ignore the message. Ignoring a cyberbully is not an act of weakness. In fact, it takes a level of maturity to stand above it and understand that all the bully is after is your response. If you do choose to respond, take your time to write a calm, unemotional message and show it to someone before you send it to make sure it comes across the way you meant it to. Then drop it. Don't respond anymore. But don't delete any messages you get. Save them all as evidence.
The second step is to block the bully. Most electronic communication programs allow users to block specific screen names or email addresses. This will make it harder for the bully to have access to you.
Step 3, decide if you need to let an adult know about what's happening. Although most teens would prefer to handle the situation on their own, there are times when it is very helpful or even necessary to tell a trusted adult.
For example, when you've tried other steps to get the cyberbully to stop, but it didn't work. Maybe you've been threatened with harm, or the cyberbullying appears to be a crime. Or perhaps you're just really upset and you don't know what to do.
Although telling an adult might seem drastic or even a bit scary, it may be necessary to stop the bullying, which, after all, is what you want. So trust that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but actually strength. It means you are strong enough to say that you won't put up with it anymore. In our next example, we hear from a high school senior who wishes he had reached out for help earlier than he did.
Looking back, not telling someone is probably the worst mistake I made. Well, when I was bullied in school, it was one thing, but as soon as they started sending text messages, that's when the nightmare began. I had nowhere else to go, nowhere else to escape and get away from all those troubles. It's like you're being bullied 24/7, like there's no way for you to be happy. I knew exactly who was bullying me. They started off doing it straight to my face. They used to have a go at how big my lips looked, just to see me get angry, just to see me respond, to see me react. I tried to ignore it, but eventually it started getting to me. I wanted them to stop. I would tell them, just leave me alone, I didn't do anything to you. And they liked that. They just kept feeding off of that pain that I was feeling. You're really skinny, you need to get bigger, you'll get no girls, you have no life, go out more, try and make some friends, you have no friends, no one likes you, things like that. People always want to feel loved, and when someone tells you that no one likes you, you feel alone. Eventually it went on to Facebook, to AIM. I'd have anonymous people asking me questions, making fun of me. I'd think it's one person even though it's someone else. When I stopped knowing who was making fun of me, I started thinking everyone was making fun of me and that everyone was against me. That was horrible for me. I was most definitely depressed. I hated that feeling, to be made fun of 24/7. They started with the way I looked, but eventually it got much more personal. And they would say things like, go kill yourself, no one will even notice. Your family doesn't even want you. Racist comments, things I really don't want to repeat. It hurt. It was like a constant nightmare for me. There's only so much a person can take from this. I was really embarrassed. I really did not want to let people know that people were getting to me. If I told my mom, at the time I thought she might overreact. She might take my phone away, take my computer. It's not exactly the easiest thing to tell people. You don't want people to know. I wasn't intending to tell anyone about it. I still wanted to handle it on my own. I was embarrassed to tell people. But my coach is the one who came to me and asked me what was going on. And I'm so grateful that he came to me, because that's when I just let everything out. I told him everything, and it was like the weight of the world off of my shoulders. After I told my coach, he must have told the right person, taken the right action. He handled it discreetly, and I tell you, after the bullying stopped, wow, it was great. I got back to my normal life. Well, I'm definitely not best friends with those guys, but it's a lot better than being in that nightmare. People usually try to handle it themselves. You know, they want to feel adult, grown up. They want to try and prevent things like that happening or be able to stick up for themselves. But there's only so much one person can handle, and you don't want it to get to the point where you do something irrational because of all the pressure and all the pain that you're going through. So I'd say you should tell someone as soon as you feel that things are getting out of control. If the bullying continued, I could have ended up doing something that I would have definitely regretted, or I could have hurt the people that I love.
Esteban saved himself by letting a trusted adult help, but there have been a growing number of cases where teens have actually taken their own lives as a result of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is very dangerous, and cyberbullies themselves don't think that their own words or actions would actually lead someone to harm themselves, but that's the harsh reality of cyberbullying. And guess what? Cyberbullies don't think they can be found, but they can. All electronic communications can be traced, and if you're a cyberbully, you can be found.
Okay, so let's recap. As incredibly useful as interactive technology can be, no one is out of the reach of a cyberbully. And for that reason, it's important to follow some simple, common sense rules. Only post online things that you are happy for anyone to see.
Keep your private information private and remove anything online that might be used by a cyberbully to hurt you.
Don't be a cyberbully yourself. And if you know cyberbullies, get them to stop. If you are being cyberbullied, remember the steps.
Stop and take a step back. It's usually best not to respond, but if you do, make sure it's without emotion. Block the bully, and when necessary, tell a trusted adult.
Interactive technology has so much to offer. Enjoy using it, but use it safely. Follow these simple rules and do your part to stop cyberbullying.